because I honestly do believe the earth to be flat. And I know that sounds insane.
You serious?
Apparently he is, yeah, so stick around.
Go nuts on my nuts.
Well, hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Playing a Blinder with me, the Creaky Blinder. Now, I was looking around YouTube this morning, looking at other channels for ideas I could steal.
I mean, ideas I could be inspired by.
And I came across Walktown. So I thought, he doesn't look like a complete moron. I bet he's got something sensible to say about the overall concept of flat earth. And he said this. And I thought, well, finally, an intellectually equal opponent for me. So let's check out Walktown.
What?
So as you just saw, he starts his video off with a question. What happens when you are asked to do a business interview and you cannot help but talk about flat earth? Well, there's a really simple answer to that. The people you're having a meeting with think you're a complete moron.
Yeah, so, my YouTube channel, Walktown, it's where I have probably the most traffic. I've got about 9,000 subs there. I've only got about 5,000 on Facebook, and then Instagram's like 3. Chad made you ask that because I honestly do believe the earth to be flat.
Now, some of you will already be aware that I'm a self-employed person myself, a businessman, kind of. And I know what you're thinking. I look more like the type of person that holds up businesses than runs one. But no. And I've had lots of business meetings. It's how you generate new customers. What I do on YouTube and my social media statistics are the furthest thing from my mind. So what the hell has possessed this guy to bring up the fact that he's a flat earther during a business meeting?
And I know that sounds insane.
Well, if you know it sounds insane, why did you say it?
It's if you can get past the what in my opinion is the purposeful perception of the flat earth that is put out there, because I guarantee you what you think the flat earth is, I also think that's ridiculous, and I don't believe that. So
wait, so you're a flat earther that doesn't actually think the earth is flat? Yeah? No?
If you gave any of my videos a little bit of a chance, I think you'd be highly entertained, and I think you'd have to ask some pretty difficult questions.
Yeah, difficult questions. Should we get in touch with Mental Health America? Should we call his family?
Especially if you're a Christian and a Bible believer, because I do believe the deception is a purposeful evil one by the devil.
Yikes. So the earth is flat because of the devil.
And just to give you a little bit of scripture, in Romans 1, it says that we can get to know the invisible attributes of God, including his eternal power, through the things that were made. And because of that, man is without excuse. So if man is able to get to know God through the creation, of course, there's going to be an evil agenda to dilute that. And the way you dilute something is you pour it into something bigger, like infinite space, and you convince people that they're insignificant.
But why does the fact that we live on a globe in infinite space make us insignificant? I'm not insignificant. That may be how you feel about yourself, but I certainly don't.
And you also disprove everything that's on page 1 of Genesis, which when I was in my 20s, reading physics books and astronomy books, I didn't want to read page 2 of the Bible because page 1 sounded like nonsense.
Nonsense? In the Bible? Surely not. Do you mean Genesis 1:1? In the beginning. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. So where was he prior to doing that? And how did he do it? Skills.
And with the flat earth model, in my opinion, the biblical enclosed flat earth model, everything makes sense. And it's quite the conspiracy. But I tell you, I'm convinced. And one thing you'll find out is that for every piece of evidence that you may or may not think proves the globe, both sides are going to tell you their explanation for it,
Walk, or is it Mr. Town? I'm not sure, but anyway, from the globe side, absolutely 100% right. We can in fact explain everything that goes on in the world around us. From the flat earther side, I'm not convinced, because to be able to explain a piece of evidence, that piece of evidence first needs to exist. And in the 2 years I've been doing this, I have not seen one single shred of evidence presented by a flat earther that can't be debunked in 30 seconds flat because it's all a load of old crap.
Something as simple as sunrise, sunset, circumnavigation, not falling off the edge. These are things that people think prove they live on a ball, when in fact I would say they simply correlate to a ball. They're not caused by a ball.
Well, you can say whatever you want, but saying something doesn't necessarily make it true, does it? I hate it when this happens, and he's kind of right. While causation and correlation can exist at the same time, correlation does not imply causation. Action A relates to action B, but one event doesn't necessarily cause the other to happen. Correlation and causation are often confused because the human mind likes to find patterns even when they do not exist. But you can't just provide a piece of information like that and have no supporting evidence. Do you have any evidence, I mean, that supports your idea that the Earth is in fact flat? And before you say it, the Bible is not evidence for a flat Earth.
And that the enclosed biblical model actually has explanations for all that. And if you can get past those first few little deals and look into it, you'll start to see that, like, man, it's actually really hard to, on your own, without the help of government or anything like that, prove that you live on a spinning ball.
Huh, I thought you had a real challenge. That's too easy, even for me. Let me just check that I'm alone. Yeah, it's definitely just me. Nobody from the government is here. The moon. How is it, if we live on a flat Earth, we all see the same face of the moon? Now, if you want to challenge yourself, flat earthers, go outside at night time. That's when it's dark, if you're not sure, when the sun has gone away, and look up at the moon. Then phone your friend 500 miles away and see if he can see the same face of the moon as you, which he will be able to, because there is only one moon that we look at from Earth. And interestingly enough, if you've got a friend, well, I say friend, which is a bit of a loose term for flat earthers, they all just like to seem to argue with each other. But if you happen to know somebody who lives in the southern hemisphere, we'll say New Zealand or Australia, ask them to look at the face of the moon as well. Of course, they'll have to wait until it's nighttime for them, because we live on a globe, strangely enough, and ask them what the face of the moon looks like to them. Ask them to send you a photo, and you'll be amazed to find that if you live in the northern hemisphere, the face of the moon that gets seen from the southern hemisphere is the other way up. Almost as if we live on a globe, and the northern hemisphere is the higher half, and the southern hemisphere is the lower half. Nuts.
In fact, if you just walk outside and open up your eyes, you're going to see that your senses in the Bible make a lot more sense than what we see on screens today.
But they don't, do they? Because what I was just talking about going outside at nighttime and looking up at the moon, and everybody in the whole of the world sees the same face of the moon, has nothing to do with the Bible or the government or science. It just has to do with going outside and looking.
Basically, I've been looking into it for 4 or 5 years, and it got to the point where, you know, because every side has an argument, you really kind of have to just pick your battle.
No, sorry, every side does not have an argument. The flat Earth side likes to argue, but us normal people, us mere mortals, which you affectionately call globetards, have nothing more than fact and reality to rely on. Shame on us.
And I've decided that a literal reading of the Bible points to a flat, enclosed earth that is not moving, set on pillars under a dome with water above it.
Okay, and let's explore that. So you think the earth is flat and it's set on pillars. 4 pillars? Like a table? Okay. What exactly is it that those pillars are resting on to stop the earth from just falling?
God is sitting right above us. He's close, he's not far. And he wants us to see he wants us to see the characteristics of his relationship to us through his creation.
But the Bible is nothing more than an ancient storybook. It is most definitely not a scientific textbook, and it absolutely cannot be used to reliably prove that the Earth is flat. But that being said, nothing can be used to prove the Earth is flat, simply because it isn't.
Okay, so there's a video, it says do not watch this video.
Yeah, I saw that one, and following your advice, I took it literally. So I didn't.
Watch that one, and then I've got another one called Dear Pastor.
Huh, I skipped that one as well, because pasta's filled with carbs. Ketogenic diet.
And I wrote that specifically to pastors, and that one is the biblical.
Oh, great. Well, now do I feel stupid. I thought you meant pasta, as in the stuff Italians like to eat, and me, but can't, because carbs are the devil.
First one is just going to basically talk about what flat earthers actually believe, and also the fact that flat earthers actually know more about what globers believe than globers do, because all flat earthers, none of them were attracted to this just because they heard about flat earth. They actually they investigated the ball and realized that we couldn't actually prove it.
Interesting perspective. And how exactly were those investigations carried out? It was YouTube videos, wasn't it? Wasn't it? Yes, it was.
And that video is it's gonna tell you what you guys actually believe by believing in the ball. And because it goes through, it's kind of my journey. Like, I had to realize, oh, if I believe that we're on a spinning ball, I have to believe that we're spinning 1,000 miles an hour, and that we're traveling around the sun at 66,000 miles an hour, and that the sun is traveling through the galaxy at 500,000 miles an hour, and the universe is expanding at 1,000,000 miles an hour. And it's just a bunch of stuff that I didn't realize that I believed by believing in the heliocentric model.
So this is one thing that's always confused me about Flat Earth, is he clearly knows what's actually happening, what reality looks like. So why does he choose to dismiss it all? What's the end game? What is he hoping to achieve? Flurf of the year? To be head of the Flurfology department at the University of Flurfism? I don't know.
There's something called the Flat Earth Society, which is actually a what I would consider controlled opposition. It puts out half-truths and partial truths, and in my opinion, stuff that just make us easily debunkable things that kind of make us look stupid. So,
well, I hate to defend the Flat Earth Society, but that's a bit unfair. It's not the Flat Earth Society's fault that people think Flat Earthers are stupid. It's believing that the Earth is flat. That's why people think you're stupid. Don't blame the Flat Earth Society. After all, they've got members all over the globe.
That video will explain all that. So do not watch this video first, and then I'd watch Dear Pastor second. And then when you guys are flat earthers tomorrow, you can let me know.
Well, in that case, I'm going to call your videos an epic fail, because I watched both those videos, because I was only joking earlier on. And I'm still not a flat earther. And to be perfectly honest with you, I would rather get trapped in an elevator with Nathan Thompson for a week than ever become a flat earther. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I'm the Creaky Blinder, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
Alright, watch this next. But before you do, make sure you subscribe by order of the Creaky Blinder.